All right, so let's talk about the small intestine before we talk about how things are digested and absorbed there. so, so the small intestine has three parts. So it has a duodenum, and that's about 10 inches long. The next part that it's connected to is the jejunum. And the jejunum is about 7.5 feet long. And then the last part that is connected to the colon is the ileum. And it is about 10 feet long. So your food is a long way to go to get through the intestine. So it's got a long time or a long opportunity to be able to be absorbed. So the functions of the intestine are going to be chemical, digestion, and absorption. So the tube itself is made to have a high surface area, a high amount of area for food to be able to contact the walls of the tube. So the high surface area comes from its length, which you can see it's quite long. It comes from something called circular folds. And the tube itself looks a little like this, with its little folds in there. Okay. And then it also has something called villi and microvilli. So it looks a little bit like this. So here's the tube, and the lumen is not round, okay? The lumen looks kind of like this. With its little villi thing. All right, so here are circular folds. So this is one fold here, and then these little lump things are called villi. And villi are covered with, or that's lined all around with epithelial tissue, so simple columnar epithelial tissue, and on top of those are going to be microvilli. So the cells are going to look like this. Okay, so this is microvilli. They're like little fingers. It's not hair, it's not cilia. It's extensions of the actual plasma membrane so that it gives it more surface area. So if we look closely at a villus, so if we come in here, okay, so each one of these is a villus. Okay, so here's my circular fold. And on it is this villus thing, or this group of villi. So each one of these is a villus. And the villus is lined with simple columnar epithelia. So each one of these is a columnar cell, right? Okay, and between these things, there you'll see little indentions that go in here. And these are called intestinal crypts. And these are groups of cells. Cells that secrete hormones and things like that. Mucus and all that. Inside here, we have blood vessels that come in and feed, and actually start, this is where the nutrients are dumped to the blood. Okay, and then there's also there we go. Okay, and also in here is a structure called a lacteal. Okay, so there are cells here that are going to be absorbing stuff. We've got blood here for it to dump it into. We've got the lacteal that's going to end up taking in it's a lymphatic that's going to take the fats that we absorb. And the hormones that are associated for here are going to be CCK, so that's cholecystokinin, and cholecystokinin is secreted by the intestinal tract, so the cells that are in here, and it induces secretion of pancreatic enzymes or pancreatic juice and bile. So, of course, it targets the pancreas. And then secretin induces secretion of bicarbonate into the duodenum from the pancreas. So CCK and secretin, these are hormones secreted by cells in the intestinal crypts. They target the pancreas, and that helps secrete enzymes. So lipase, amylase, and protease, and then bile, and then also bicarbonate. So chyme, which is the substance that's coming from the stomach, which is just your churned up food, gets expressed into the duodenum, and it's going to be extremely acidic, way too acidic for these cells to function. So the intestine secretes secretin, and that will tell the pancreas to barf out a bunch of bicarbonate into the duodenum, and that will increase the pH in the duodenum from, a 2 or a 3 up to a 7, and make it pretty neutral. All right, and then of course we've got the enzymes that come in and induce chemical digestion and then absorption of the nutrients. All right, and don't forget here, remember, these are simple columnar cells, and they are going to have microvilli on them as well. Okay, all right, so that's how that looks. So that's what comes from here. All right, so now we can talk about what actually happens there.